There is a quiet force moving beneath the surface of your life, a force so potent, so profoundly influential, that once you become aware of it, everything begins to change. This force is not something you need to acquire, for it already exists within you. It is not a secret kept hidden by the universe, but a truth that has always been waiting for your recognition. This force is the power of assumption, the understanding that what you consistently assume to be true becomes the life you live. It is not chance, it is not fate, and it is certainly not determined by outside forces. Your world is not happening to you. It is responding to you. The moment you grasp this, you reclaim your role as the conscious creator of your reality. Every belief you hold, whether you are aware of it or not, is shaping your life at this very moment. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are shaping it with every dominant thought, every persistent feeling, every assumption you carry about yourself and the world. The truth is, the world is simply mirroring what you hold to be true inside. If you believe that life is a struggle filled with lack, hardship, and rejection, then that is what you will see, not because life must be that way, but because your belief demands it. But if you dare to assume that life is on your side, that everything is always working out for you, that you are worthy of love, success, and abundance, then the world will shape itself to reflect those beliefs back to you. This is not a game of illusions. This is the foundational law of creation. Think back to a time in your life when you truly knew, something would go your way. Maybe it was a job you knew you'd get, a conversation you knew would go well, or a challenge you faced with absolute certainty that you'd overcome it. In those moments, there was no hesitation, no doubt, no need for proof. There was only inner conviction. And what happened? The world aligned. The opportunity appeared. The result unfolded in your favor. That was not a coincidence. That was the law in motion. That was the result of assumption backed by unwavering belief. The secret is not about passively hoping or wishing things would improve. It is about stepping into the reality you desire as if it is already yours and refusing to entertain anything less. You must begin to see yourself as the source. You are not a bystander waiting for life to bless you with a miracle. You are the miracle. You are not hoping to one day arrive at your dream life. You are becoming the version of yourself who already lives that life now. Every shift starts from within. The outer world does not create your internal state. Your internal state creates the outer world. If you long for love, do not wait for someone to come and make you feel loved. Feel it now. Be it now. Imagine the warmth of being cherished. Walk as someone who knows they are worthy of deep, unconditional love. If you seek abundance, move through life as someone who already knows they are supported, prosperous, and limitless in opportunity. Speak as that person. Think as that person. Act as that person. Because that person, the one you dream of becoming, already exists within you. The only thing separating you from that version of yourself is your assumption. Most people live in reaction to what is, reacting to their environment, their bank account, their relationships, and letting the current state of things dictate how they feel and what they believe is possible. But if you continue to react to what is, you will only create more of what already exists. To break free, you must rise above what is and live from what will be. You must be willing to walk in the vision of your desire, even when the world offers you no proof. That is the test. That is the power. Creation does not begin with evidence. It begins with imagination and unwavering assumption. You cannot wait for success to feel successful. You cannot wait for love to feel worthy. You cannot wait for abundance to feel free. You must feel it first. You must live in it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and the world will follow. Let your imagination become your most loyal companion. Do not dismiss it as fantasy or make-believe. Every great thing that exists in this world began first in the imagination of someone who dared to believe in something unseen. Every building, every piece of technology, every movement of progress began with a person who held a vision so clearly and so strongly in their inner world that the outer world had no choice but to catch up. Your imagination is not a passive tool. It is the foundation of your reality. Whatever you persistently hold in mind, the world must reflect, and the more vividly, the more consistently, and the more emotionally you hold that vision, the faster it will crystallize in your life. So begin here. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Imagine the end and live from it. Become the person who already has what they desire. Feel what they feel. Think what they think. Do what they do, and do not look to the world for proof. Your assumption is the proof. And as you persist in that assumption, as you hold firm in that inner knowing, life will reveal to you something far greater than you ever dared to imagine. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You are the creator. You always have been. And the moment you assume that everything always works out for you, you will see the world rise up to meet that belief again and again without fail. The power of assumption, shaping reality through inner belief. Every single moment of your life is a mirror, a reflection of what you have chosen to believe about yourself and the world around you. This truth is not merely philosophical. It is foundational. At the core of all creation, all transformation, all breakthroughs, lies the quiet, unseen power of assumption. What you assume to be true is not a passive thought. It is a living force, a silent architect shaping your future. Most people live in reaction. They wake up each day, glance at their bank accounts, their relationships, their physical environment, and they make decisions based on what they see. They say, "This is my life." And by affirming this outer reality, they unknowingly reinforce it. They continue to feed it with their assumptions, and so the cycle continues. But assumption is not about what you currently see. It is about what you decide to embody. It is about stepping into the unseen with unwavering conviction. Your outer world does not lead your inner world. It is the reverse. The moment you understand this, you realize that the life you are living is not the product of chance or external forces. It is the result of the assumptions you carry silently within you every single day. If you assume life is hard, you will see hardship everywhere. If you believe opportunities are scarce, scarcity will show up in countless forms. If you feel unworthy of love, you will continually find yourself in situations that reflect that unworthiness. But what happens when you choose a different assumption? What unfolds when you decide that life is not against you, but working tirelessly in your favor? Everything begins to change, not immediately, but inevitably. You shift from being a passive receiver of life to an active creator. You stop waiting for something outside of you to prove your worth or validate your dream. Instead, you embody it. You wear it like a second skin. You walk differently, speak differently, feel differently, because you are living from a reality of the wish fulfilled. This is not arrogance. It is not delusion. It is conscious creation. The greatest figures in history, the innovators, the leaders, the dreamers, did not wait for evidence before they believed. They believed first. They moved with the certainty that what they envisioned in their minds was more real than what they currently saw. They assumed success long before the world recognized them. That assumption became their compass, guiding them through obstacles, doubt, and rejection, until their inner world spilled into the outer one. And you can do the same. You do not need a perfect past, a perfect resume, or the perfect conditions. You need only a single unwavering assumption that everything is always working out for you, that life bends in your favor, that the universe is not random or chaotic, but intentional, aligned, and designed to reflect your deepest beliefs. Begin to carry this assumption with you. Let it color every thought, every word, every step. When things seem to fall apart, remind yourself, this too is working in my favor. When delays arise, assume they're aligning you with something even better. When people doubt you, assume that their doubt has no power over the truth you carry within. This is not blind optimism. It is a radical commitment to trust. It is standing firm in the face of current circumstances and declaring, I know who I am. I know what I believe. I know what is coming. Because assumption is not about wishing. It is about knowing. And when you truly know that your assumption is the seed of your future, you stop needing proof. You become the proof. You walk as the person who already has what they desire. You speak as someone who already lives in the reality they've imagined. And slowly, then suddenly, the world catches up. Assumption does not require effort. It requires persistence. You do not need to repeat affirmations 1,000 times or force things into place. You simply hold to the truth of your new reality, regardless of what appears before you. The mind may waver. The senses may doubt. But the deeper knowing within you must remain unmoved. That is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. So ask yourself, what am I assuming today? Am I assuming things will fall apart, or that they're coming together? Am I assuming that I am not good enough, or that I am more than ready? Am I assuming the worst, or expecting the best? Every assumption you make is like a command to the universe. And the universe never disobeys. It does not question or argue, it responds. Decide now to be the one who chooses their assumption with care, with clarity, with confidence. Choose to believe that life is not a battle, but a beautiful unfolding. That setbacks are setups, that delays are divine, that detours lead to greater destinations, that you are already on the right path, even if it doesn't look like it yet. The moment you make that choice and persist in it, the moment you stop needing the outside world to convince you and instead become a conviction yourself, everything begins to shift. This is the quiet revolution that changes lives, not through noise, not through force, but through the unseen power of inner belief. Assume wisely, for your assumption is your future in seed form. What you nurture will grow. What you believe will become. You are not waiting on life. Life is waiting on you to assume the reality that already belongs to you. The only question is, what will you believe into existence? The silent architect, mastering the inner conversation. If you want to change your life, you must first learn to master the conversations no one else hears. The silent whispers that echo within your mind when the world is quiet. Your inner dialogue is not idle chatter. It is not background noise. It is the blueprint of your future. Every word you speak internally is a seed, and your subconscious mind is always listening, always obeying. Think about this. Most people are speaking to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They replay their failures. They anticipate rejection. They affirm lack, fear, and doubt, sometimes hundreds of times a day, without realizing that this inner repetition is not harmless. It is creative. It is directive. It is shaping the very reality they wish to escape. You cannot outrun your self-talk. You cannot build a life of power while holding conversations of powerlessness. You cannot expect to live a life of abundance if in your mind you are constantly affirming struggle. The inner conversation must match the outer desire. If it doesn't, the desire will remain a distant dream, never fully touching down into your lived experience. And here lies the truth most overlooked. It is not your wish that creates. It is not your desire alone. It is the assumption made real through repetition, through the internal dialogue that you carry day after day, moment after moment. You can want something deeply, but if your inner voice is speaking doubt, fear, or limitation, that desire will wither. It is like planting a seed in fertile soil, only to water it daily with poison. So, what is your inner conversation today? When you look in the mirror, what do you say? When you face a challenge, what do you declare? When you dream of a bigger life, how does your mind respond? That is your true script. That is what your subconscious receives as instruction. And the subconscious does not care if the inner conversation is empowering or destructive. It only cares that it is consistent. It follows repetition, not morality. It follows tone, not logic. It is not analyzing your thoughts. It is obeying them. It takes your internal speech and begins orchestrating circumstances, encounters, insights, and opportunities to match it. This is why change is not a matter of willpower. It is a matter of inner language. Change the conversation, and you will change the outcome. You don't need to force your way into a new life. You need to speak your way into it. Quietly, consistently, courageously. Here's the power. You can begin this shift right now. You don't need more money, more time, or more qualifications. You need only a decision to speak as the person you are becoming, not the person you've been. And this begins not with the world, but with yourself. Stop saying, I'm stuck. Start saying, I'm evolving. Stop saying, nothing ever works for me. Start saying, everything is aligning in my favor. Stop saying, I don't know how. Start saying, the path is revealing itself. Stop saying, I can't. Start saying, I am becoming. And it's not about fake positivity. It's not about pretending. It's about deciding. Deciding to claim the inner authority that's always been yours. You see, the voice in your mind is not a fact. It's a script. And you are the author. You can rewrite it. You can edit it. You can erase what no longer serves and inscribe what empowers, uplifts, and expands. When you wake up in the morning, speak life into your day before the world speaks fear into it. When you face resistance, affirm your resilience. When you fall short, speak grace, not guilt. When you're walking into the unknown, speak certainty, speak vision, speak presence. Let your inner voice become your inner coach, not your inner critic. Because here's the ultimate truth. You are always under the influence of your most repeated thoughts. Your beliefs are built word by word, and those words become the house you live in. If you don't like that house, rebuild it. You are not stuck with an inner dialogue that sabotages you. You are not bound to stories of failure, of not enough, of maybe someday. You are free to speak differently, free to believe more boldly, free to construct a new inner kingdom. But like all kingdoms, this one is built over time. It requires discipline, not of the outer kind, but the inner kind. The discipline to interrupt self-doubt, the courage to speak abundance when lack is screaming, the grace to repeat faith when fear is loud. This is the real work, the invisible work. And it is the most powerful work you will ever do. Because when your inner conversation becomes aligned with your vision, the world has no choice but to mirror it. Life begins to respond to your language. People sense a shift. Opportunities recognize your energy. Doors open where there were only walls. Not because the outer world changed, but because you changed what you were whispering to yourself when no one was listening. This is how empires are built. Quietly, brick by brick, thought by thought, word by word. So let this be your declaration. From this moment on, I will speak only what aligns with the life I am building. I will not give my voice to limitation, to fear, to the opinions of others. I will not entertain conversations, internal or external, that do not reflect my highest self. I will speak with intention. I will speak with vision. I will master the language of becoming. Because I understand now, my future is not written in fate. It is written in thought, and I am the author. The battle of two minds, becoming whole from within. Every single day, there's a silent war happening inside you. A battle between two minds. One is the conditioned mind, forged from years of fear, rejection, pain, and repetition. The other is your true mind, the quiet, confident voice of your higher self, buried under layers of noise. Most people spend their entire lives listening to the wrong mind, the conditioned one, the one that says, stay safe, don't try, it's too late, who do you think you are? And the tragedy is, they think that voice is the truth, but it isn't. It's just old programming. You were not born with doubt. You were not born with shame. You were not born telling yourself you're not good enough. You learned that. Somewhere along the way, you absorbed the fears of others. You internalized the criticisms. You repeated their doubts until they became your own. And then, without realizing it, you built a life to match that inner voice. But that voice is not the real you. It is just the echo of someone else's limitation. And if you want to rise, if you want to become who you were meant to be, you must make a decision to stop letting the conditioned mind drive your life. Because here's the truth. Every time you choose fear over courage, that mind wins. Every time you choose comfort over growth, that mind wins. Every time you talk yourself out of taking a step, that mind wins. And it will keep winning until you recognize that it is not your ally. It is not protecting you. It is imprisoning you. The conditioned mind doesn't care about your greatness. It cares about survival. It wants familiarity. It wants routine. It wants you to stay exactly where you are, even if where you are is slowly killing your spirit. But deep within you, beyond the noise, beyond the stories and fears, there is another mind, the original mind, the quiet one, the knowing one, the one that whispers, there is more, the one that nudges you to grow, to break patterns, to pursue your calling. That mind doesn't scream. It doesn't panic. It doesn't need validation. It simply waits for you to listen. And when you do, truly listen, everything begins to change. You start to see that the fear you've been obeying is just smoke, that the limitations you believed were real are just thoughts passing like clouds, that the person you've always wanted to become is not a stranger, but someone you've already been in moments of clarity. You begin to reclaim your power, not by force, but by truth. The truth that you are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not the labels, the mistakes, or the opinions others have placed on you. You are awareness itself. You are the observer. And the moment you stop identifying with the conditioned voice, you begin the journey home. But here's where most people give up. They hear both voices, the old one screaming and the new one whispering. And they think they're broken. They think they have to choose one forever. But the reality is, the battle never truly ends. You will always have both minds. Growth is not about silencing the conditioned mind forever. It's about recognizing it when it speaks and choosing not to obey. It's about creating space between the thought and the action. It's about developing the muscle of inner awareness so that over time, the true mind becomes louder, stronger, clearer. This is the real transformation, not changing who you are, but unlearning who you're not, shedding the layers that were never yours to begin with, the opinions, the expectations, the guilt, the shame, all of it. You let it fall away. You no longer fight for your limitations. You stop defending your pain. You stop justifying your smallness. And you begin to live from a place of truth, not fear. You begin to take steps that don't make sense to the old mind. You begin to act in ways that scare you not because they're dangerous, but because they're unfamiliar. And each time you do, the new mind grows stronger. You begin to rewrite the script. You speak differently. You walk differently. You make decisions not from panic, but from purpose. You become intentional, grounded, centered. You no longer chase things to fill the void. You create from a place of wholeness. You start to realize that everything you were searching for, validation, freedom, peace, was never outside of you. It was always waiting inside, behind the noise, behind the pain, behind the mask. And as you live from this new place, you begin to notice something powerful. The world responds differently, not because the world changed, but because your frequency changed. You are no longer attracting from desperation. You are no longer begging life to give you scraps. You are moving as someone who knows who they are, who walks with alignment, who speaks with clarity. You begin to attract people, experiences, and opportunities that match your new identity, not the old one. But this takes vigilance. This takes presence, because the old mind doesn't give up easily. It will try to pull you back with guilt, with doubt, with stories. It will remind you of your failures. It will tempt you with comfort, and you must stand firm. You must choose presence over programming, awareness over autopilot. You must become the guardian of your own mind. This is not a one-time decision. This is daily work, hourly work, moment-by-moment awareness. And it is worth it, because the prize is your life, not just existing, but truly living, not just surviving, but expanding, becoming, embodying the fullness of who you were always meant to be. This is the work most avoid, but this is the work that sets you free. You don't need more information. You don't need more advice. You need integration. You need to go within and meet yourself, not the version the world created, but the version that existed before the world told you who to be. And when you do, you'll realize something life-changing. Peace was never out there. Confidence was never out there. Worth was never out there. It was always in you, waiting for you to remember. Let this be the day you stop running from your own power. Let this be the moment you reclaim your mind, your voice, your path. The battle may continue, but now you fight with awareness. You fight with love. You fight with truth. Rising from the storm, the quiet power that comes after the battle. There's a kind of strength that doesn't roar, a kind of power that doesn't announce itself. It's not loud, it's not flashy, and it doesn't seek validation. It's the kind of strength that is forged in silence, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when it's just you and the storm. That's where the real transformation happens, in the solitude, in the darkness, when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. But something within you whispers, keep going. And so you do, not because you're fearless, but because you finally realized fear doesn't get to decide the direction anymore. Pain doesn't get to be the compass, and your past doesn't get to write your future. By now, you've walked through the fire. You've faced parts of yourself you used to avoid. You've unlearned patterns that were once your comfort zone. You've let go of people, places, habits, and versions of you that no longer align. And yes, it hurt. Growth always costs something, but what you gain is far more valuable. You gain clarity. You gain peace. You gain a deep, unshakable connection to yourself that can't be faked. And the world may not notice right away, but that doesn't matter. Because this time, you're not doing it for the world. You're doing it for the person who kept showing up when everything inside you wanted to give up. That kind of resilience is rare. It's not built overnight. It's earned through nights of silent crying, through mornings where your body felt too heavy to rise, through decisions you made when you had no guarantees, only hope. And that hope, it was enough. Even the smallest flicker of it became your anchor. The belief that maybe, just maybe, something better was on the other side. So you kept walking. You kept rebuilding. You kept choosing to believe in a version of yourself you hadn't met yet, but could feel was real. This is what rising truly looks like. It's not a dramatic comeback. It's not proving people wrong. It's not even about revenge or recognition. It's about coming home to yourself, waking up one day and realizing you're no longer at war with your own mind, that the voices of doubt have gotten quieter, that the self-sabotage no longer has a grip, that your past still exists, but it no longer controls your narrative. And in that moment, you breathe a little deeper. You stand a little taller. You carry yourself differently, not out of pride, but out of peace. You start to understand that healing isn't about fixing yourself. It's about accepting yourself. All of you, the broken pieces, the beautiful scars, the contradictions, the complexities, the light and the dark. And once you do, you stop chasing external approval. You stop needing everyone to get you. You stop over-explaining your decisions. Because now you know not everyone will understand your journey. And they're not supposed to. What matters is that you understand it, that you honor it, that you keep walking it, even if you're walking alone. And here's the thing, they will notice. Eventually, not because you tell them, but because your energy shifts. You no longer tolerate what you used to. You no longer beg for spaces that weren't built for you. You no longer chase love that's conditional or recognition that's hollow. Your presence begins to speak for you. It says, I've been through hell and came out different. It says, I rebuilt myself piece by piece and I'm not going back. It says, I don't need to prove anything. I've already proven everything to myself. That is power, quiet, unshakable, rooted. And yes, there will still be challenges. Life doesn't suddenly become easy, but you become equipped. You no longer fear the storm because you've already survived worse. You no longer break at every trigger because you've done the inner work. You no longer lose yourself in every setback because you've built a foundation that holds. A foundation built on self-trust, built on showing up, built on truth. And that truth, it's unshakable. You've learned that success isn't just about outcomes. It's about alignment, about doing what feels right to your soul, even if no one understands it. About saying no to what drains you and yes to what fuels you. About choosing rest without guilt. About setting boundaries without apology. About walking away without looking back. These are the quiet victories that no one claps for. But they are the most important ones, because they're the victories that build a life that's actually yours. You're not here to live a life of performance. You're not here to chase approval. You're here to live fully, to love deeply, to speak truthfully, to stand firmly, to rise again and again, not because life is perfect, but because you become someone who doesn't give up on themselves anymore. That's what matters. That's what lasts. Not the opinions, not the noise, but the unbreakable relationship you've built with yourself. And if no one's told you this yet, be proud. Be proud of how far you've come. Be proud of how you've healed. Be proud of how you chose growth when it would have been easier to stay stuck. Be proud of how you've risen from the storm, quietly, humbly, powerfully, because that kind of strength, it's rare, it's real, and it's yours. So if you're still standing after everything you've been through, if you're still choosing to grow, still choosing to believe, still choosing to rise, then hear this loud and clear. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes patience. It takes courage. You are the story that proves pain doesn't have the final word. You are the evidence that the comeback is always stronger than the setback. You are walking proof that storms don't break everyone. Some people rise from them with fire in their eyes and peace in their heart. And as this chapter closes, I want you to carry this truth with you. Your journey is worthy, even if no one claps for it. Your healing is valid, even if it's messy. And your voice, your purpose, your presence, they matter more than you know. So stand tall, speak light, walk forward. The world needs what you become through the fire. If this message touched your heart, if you felt even a spark of strength light up within you, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Like it if it reminded you of your own power. And subscribe to this channel if you're on a journey to build an unbreakable mindset. Because this is just the beginning. Your next chapter is waiting. And I promise it's going to be powerful. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep rising.